It's me again, your favorite how-to video teacher. I am going to show you your modeling today for English, which means that you are going to give it your 110% and try and do it just like I did it. Now, I am like super sick in my throat, so if I'm reading this to you, please make sure you're like trying to take it in and trying to do your best at home, all right? Okay, so if you go to your courses, and right here you can see I'm in my English course. Imagine that you've already gone to the discussion, you've done your morning check-in, you've commented with your jokes, so we all know that you're here and you're figuring this all out. Then next you would go to assignments. And you know what? I'm going to put this in student view so you can see exactly how it would look for you. So student view. All right, so we're here and now we're ready to go to assignment. So I'm going to check out my assignment today. And here it is. It says, "Good morning, normal humans. For today's English lesson, we'll be reading 2 texts and then working on a KWL chart to process what you've learned about ecosystems." KWL stands for know, want to know, and learn. So things you know about ecosystems, something you want to know, and then things that you've learned. You've got a lot of background knowledge on ecosystems, so you should be able to fill up this chart pretty well today. And I will be checking to see that you tried. So it says that you're going to watch this teaching tutorial, which is what you're doing right now. So pat on the back if you've done that so far. Next, you're going to read forest biomes along with me during the tutorial and make annotations as we read. Afterwards, you're going to read 10 interesting facts about ecosystems on your own and apply the same annotations, meaning that you're going to go through and highlight that document just like we do. And then lastly, you're going to fill out the KWL chart to show what you know. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open all 3 of these, and it's going to prompt me to make a copy, which is great. And then having this copy will make sure that I can annotate it and highlight it, make notes if I want to. Got my 10 interesting facts document. And I believe I already opened up the KWL. So I'm going to go ahead and write my name in here. You can do the same. And I'm going to say, so what do I know about ecosystems? We know a lot. I'm going to start off saying, you can do little number bullets here to make yourself feel really good when you write tons of things. I know there are aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. I know ecosystems are grouped into biomes. I'm gonna stop there. You should be able to put some more. I gave you 2, okay? What is something you want to know? Well, let's preview the text and see what our options are. Interesting facts. You guys like facts, so you might have something good you want to know just by kind of glancing at this. It looks like it's got some interesting information about animals. And this one, forest biomes. What do you think of when you hear the word forest? All right, looks like we've got a map on here to check out. Pretty short article. So if I were to think of one thing I might want to know, is maybe how about what type of animals live in the forest? You might already know that. Type of animals live in different forests. What about how old is the oldest forest? That could be kind of cool if we're learning interesting facts, right? And I won't write any more. You can write some. But I hope you like this chart. I made it pretty for you. I'm sorry I sound half asleep. I promise you I've been so exhausted this weekend. I got kind of sick, so I apologize. I can feel how drained I sound. Let me pep it up a little bit. All right. So I'm going to read this one for you. Please read along with me. Let's go ahead and highlight our title because that's our most important piece of information. We know it's all about forest biomes, and if you don't know how to annotate on here, watch me, okay? Basically, it's a big fancy word for highlighting important information and making notes of things if you need to. Let me move my picture. See this comment box? We should be able to add a comment. Yeah, right here. So comment box, add comment. So if we want to like write down an interesting fact right here or something we think that's kind of cool, We can do that. All right. So, what do you think of when you hear the word forest? Although ancient forests were dominated by very tall ferns or mosses, the main characteristic of a modern forest is its trees. That sounds important. This is how we're classifying forests. In a forest, trees provide food, shelter, and oxygen for many communities of organisms. The type of organisms that live in a forest ecosystem are often determined by the kinds of trees that grow there. So that's interesting. The trees like determine all the animal life that's there. I'm gonna highlight that. And I could even write my little comment here like, oh, interesting. Animals are determined based off the trees in the forest. And that's why different types of forests have different types of animals. You kind of just answered one of the questions we asked. A forest includes much more than just trees, though. The living parts of the forest, the biotic factors. Aha, do you remember that term, biotic and abiotic, when you went on your little scavenger hunt? Also include shrubs and grasses, mosses, and other plants. Animals from tiny insects to large mammals depend on these plants and affect how they grow. Microorganisms that break down leaves into soil are an essential part of the forest. Essential is a really good word right here. It means very important. So you guys are like essential to our classroom, right? You're very important to our classroom. Forests cover about 30% of the land surface of Earth. There are three major types of forests: deciduous, coniferous, and rainforests. I would highlight this. This seems pretty important. You can make it a new color, or you could put in a comment box to remember. Deciduous forests have trees with wide leaves that fall off in the winter. They're located in the middle latitudes of the northern hemisphere. Now check out this little map we got going on. This is exactly what you just read, right? Deciduous, I see the green. Latitude is a line that goes straight across and the sun beats down and starts the whole water cycle and convection cells going on. So deciduous forests are at the middle latitudes of the northern hemisphere. So we see them all up here in the green, north, south, if you're thinking of the compass. And I'll highlight that too. And we know that this is important because they gave us an extra text feature, which is kind of like, hello, hello, pay attention. They don't want you to forget. The main feature of coniferous forests is trees that produce seeds and cones. Trees in coniferous forests have needle-like leaves that remain on the tree throughout the winter. In general, coniferous forests grow farther north than deciduous forests. So if we check out our little map, the higher up, the colder it gets because it's further from the sun hitting that latitudinal line. And then you have coniferous forests and trees growing there. They have those pine needles. A rainforest grows where temperatures are warm and where it rains throughout most of the year. Rainforests have very dense plant growth, and trees do not lose their leaves in the winter. Most rainforests are located near the equator and are known as tropical rainforests. Although the northwest coast of North America, where the ocean causes some areas to be warmer and wetter, there are some temperate rainforests. All right, and then we've got our rainforest going on right here in the orange part of the map. So that's the end of this article. It's really brief. It just basically, if I were to say what the gist of this is, it's explaining the three different types of forests that exist and why. And if I were to ask you why these forests are different, one, you could tell me, well, I know this, Miss Waite, because it said right in the beginning that it depends on the tree life. But if you back it up even further from there and you look at this infographic that it has, we know that it's different because there are the different latitudinal lines and where the sun is hitting and warming these forests. So when it's hitting the hardest here at the middle, it's warmer, so there's different tree life. And then as we go up a little bit away from the equator, it gets a bit cooler, so we have different tree life in the deciduous forest. You can come on. And then all the way up furthest, you have the coniferous forest with like the pine needle trees. All right, so I will go over to my chart. And what do I know? Well, we just said it, right? I know that forests are different because of tree life. And I also know that there are 3 types of forests, right? And they're different based on where they fall latitudinally. Wow, did I spell that right? That's wild. Okay, guys, so look how much we wrote just reading one. Oh, wait, that's what I learned. Silly Miss Waite. Take that out. And this is, what did I learn? Look at me making mistakes all over the place. It's keeping it interesting for you, right? So this is what I learned. Those questions I had earlier, I would say, what did I want to learn? All right. So if you check out our chart, what type of animals live in different forests? How old is oldest forest? We didn't learn specifics here yet, but we did learn why the animal types would be different in the forest, and that does have to do with where they are on the globe and like how much sun they're getting, what type of trees are there, therefore what type of animal and organism life is there. Okay, so now your job is to read this article right here, which I think you'll like even more because it's all about facts, and highlight it like we did, make any comments off to the side like we did, pay close attention to the graphics that it gives you, and then finish up your chart. When you're done with all of that, you want to click Submit Assignment, and then it won't let me show you this exactly when I'm in Student View, but right here, it says File Upload, Website URL, go to Google Drive, and my pretty little chart that you have in your drive now will pop up in this screen, and you can submit it to me just like that. And it's really easy. So I think a good silver lining, a positive of being on Canvas is once we get the hang of it, I think this will be even easier than what we're used to on Google Classroom. Okay? So that is your video for this. I hope you guys enjoy this lesson. I will make you a science video too. Bye.